So it's days like today that make me wish I had set this format up differently, so that I didn't have to reveal what I tasted last time, what I called last time, before moving on to the next thing. But I did it so that I had to own it. And owning, calling a St. Joseph Syrah Zinfandel from California is what this is all about. So that's what I did, is I called Lodi when it was really this beautiful wine that I fell in love with the first time I tasted it. Pierre Janvier, St. Joseph. This is 2017. It's Syrah. So, damn. What did I do wrong? Well, I said there was a touch of RS. I feel like the structure was where I screwed up here. Clearly, Syrah should be bone dry, and I said there was a touch of RS here, even though when I first tasted it, it was like smack. It is dry. It was coating. I didn't call the acid high enough. I talked about astringency in the flavor profile, but I failed when I talked about structure to talk about how high it was. And I think I medium plus alcohol, and I went off the rails on this being really high alcohol. So, if the structure was what I called, then yeah, sure, Zen is a good call, but that's not what it was. And I need to pay more attention to those structure calls and get closer and pay more attention to like things that are those different varying percentages of alcohol and where my mouth really tastes high alcohol and high acidity and St. Joseph. So, moving right along, today we're going to taste white. Okay, so today's white wine is, it's intensely colored. It is like day glow lemon yellow with a little gold highlight. There is no sediment or gas. It is very bright. It is sheeting, not really full-bodied from the looks of it. No real tearing or anything like that. So, moving to the nose. Wine is sound, and it is like ripe bruised apple. Ripe bruised apple. There's a real serious like orchard fruit thing going on here. It's apples and pears. They're bruised, they're ripe, they're overripe. There's white flowers, yellow flowers. There's a little bit of wet sand and a little desiccated, like could be some age to this, could just be the style of the wine, whatever, but there's a real like past its prime kind of smell to the fruit. A little dusty or aromatics, a little light spice, something like cumin, if you will, or cinnamon's not quite right, baking. There's a little baking spice to it, and the color is really intense, like that yellow golden, so it could have had some time in the oak, and it could be, color is some time in oak, some age, some skin contact, which I don't really think that's what this is, but those are things we're talking about. Moving to the palate. Wine is dry, ripe. That little bit of overripe is still there. I feel like maybe there was some skin contact. It's got a little phenolic. It's got a little like tongue textural kind of action going on. It's really kind of fascinating. There's a bitter, so confirming the things from the palate, from the nose. The apples are still there. It is a little bit more textural. It is, they are ripe, overripe, bruised, skin more, and flesh more than the fruit, which was a little bit more on the nose. The flowers are drooping. Like everything has kind of gotten past its prime, but they are all still here on the palate. And then we talk that astringency and texture and a bitterness and a pithiness to the citrus, which wasn't really big on the nose, but there's like a lemon grapefruit pith to it. All right, wine is dry. It is medium bodied. Acid is medium plus. Alcohol is medium. see, got a little more color. There's a little bit of like apricot. There's some funky, nutty, bitter pithiness. The spices on it, like that cumin, the weirdness, it could be botrytis. That color would give us a little bit of that. Acid, medium, alcohol. It burns a little bit, medium plus. There is a little texture, a little pithy, bitter. Okay, so, and something kind of aromatic and perfumey to the finish. This is not an intense perfume. I'm not talking Gewürztraminer here, but there is a little bit of something going on. So what are we talking about here? It's complex. There's a lot going on. The finish does continue on for quite a bit. Let's talk initial conclusion, right? So this is with possible botrytis, that keeps me old world. Structure calls keep me old world. Possible botrytis keeps me with things like maybe Riesling from, from Alsace, or Pinot from Alsace. The Pinot fits with a little bit with the pithy bitter phenolics, but the amount of like kind of spice and oak that could be on this feels like Chardonnay with some age, but there's a little bit more complexity to this than an old world Chardonnay would, and botrytis doesn't fit with Chardonnay. So Roussanne needs to be thrown in this batch. I think the little bit of oak, the color, the texture, that little pithy bitterness fits. So all of those varietals we're talking about, France, Alsace, Chablis or Burgundy with Chardonnay, and Roussanne is going to be in the Rhone. So France, Old World, and the age, I think this is more of a style of Roussanne, so it's not really aged, even though that there's that desiccated, overripe funkiness to the fruit, but still 2 to 4 years. Okay, final conclusion. I think that this is a Roussanne. I believe that we are at 2016, and Roussanne, we're going to talk Southern Rhone. Yeah, Roussanne, 2016, Southern Rhone, France. That's it. I got to read up on Roussanne. I know that I should know one of the regions, and I can't think of it at the moment, and that is not good. Okay, so not the best week. The Roussanne here, the Zinfandel / Syrah that I tasted last time, that's what practice is. All right, guys, post tips. Remind me where Roussanne is from. And embarrass me, make me feel better, make me work better, and ask questions. So interactions, what it's all about. All right, thanks, and I'm gonna keep drinking this weird ass white.